Welcome back to the Tomahawk. I'm your host, Mike. This is Matt, and we're going to give you the breakdown from the last two games of the Hawks. They played Detroit, but quickly, do us a quick favor, hit subscribe and do us a like. It really helps out the channel. We want to bring out more content and get our content put out there, so that'd be a really big help for us. So last game, Hawks lost. They played yesterday, 5-3 to the Detroit Redwings, and it was a pretty good game. I would say they did not lose from a lack of effort. They played really hard, really put it out there, but had a little bit of unlucky with the puck, I would say, but they looked like a better team. But Detroit was able to put the pucks in the net, and that was all of the difference. Subban got his second straight start. I don't think he looked as good as he did in his previous game. I don't want to throw the guy under the bus, but he lost his confidence after his third goal, and Nicholas Bowden got sent down to the AHL. I think that he's been a big difference maker so far. I think that he's really been making his mark on the team, and I think moving him down was a mistake. They're definitely trying to give Boqvist as much playing time as they can for him. And to be honest with you, I'm 50-50 on that decision. I do believe that he deserves time to play, but is he kind of there? I think Bowden plays better than Boqvist, but I guess Boqvist does deserve an opportunity. What do you think about that, Matt?
Yeah, I agree that it sucks that they sent him down, but I think the competition in the defensive area there's a lot of it, and they're pushing Boqvist, and they want him to be like the future, and it's good that Bowden's down. He's going to get some starts. He'll probably get big minutes down there. But, he was playing good, and we were, as a team, playing good with him in the lineup. I also, with Subban, I thought against the Blue Jackets, he was a difference maker in that shutout win, of course. He was good, made big saves. But you didn't get the big saves out of him against the Wings, which they're not that good of a team, and those are 2 points that we need in this playoff hunt. So, I mean, we like to see him win, but it didn't work out.
I think that it's you mentioned that we needed those 2 points. I believe we moved into third place in the Central after today's game, because I want to get into that, because I think that there's more to talk about in the second game than really the first game. I think really the first game was just, I think the Hawks just had maybe a bit of an unlucky streak, and honestly just had a bad night. But skating around, they looked like a good team. Tonight was a completely different story. They seemed like the passes were coming around better. They got outshot in the first period. I believe it was like 15-7 or something like that, but they locked it up the next two periods going on. Hagel seemed to be more noticeable. Marc Staal for Detroit seemed to be on a mission tonight, to be honest with you. It seemed like wherever the puck was, that guy was breaking up plays, or he was doing something to break something up, and I think that he was very noticeable on the Detroit end. And Darren Helm seemed to be a bit of a menace in front of the net, but other than that, there wasn't really anybody on the Detroit side that was really noticeable. Their puck movement wasn't very, very good. They seem to have stepped back into pretty much who they are, which is a bottom of the rung Western Conference team. And the Hawks looked to really put them away in the third period. Patrick Kane had another great game, and Boqvist, to be honest with you, he had a good game today too. He didn't have any turnovers. Something that you mentioned prior that I wanted to talk to you about was Zadorov. For some reason, everybody calls him Zadorov, which I highly disagree with the pronunciation of his name. We don't say Fedorov, we say Fedorov. So I figure if we say Zadorov, it's not Zadorov. Anyways, yeah, maybe we can ask Steve Conroy, about it, why they pronounce his name that way. But I'm just messing around. But Zadorov, I think that he has a very big problem with getting the puck out of the zone number one, and I think that he has a lot of miscues in handling the puck in his own zone. Not when he's trying to push it out on the rush, but seeming when he gets possession of the puck, either from an offensive player or just happens to stumble onto the puck, his decision making is a little questionable. What are you seeing?
I've seen it for a while, even though he scored tonight, which was a very smart play by him. He counted the guys in front of him and saw, hey, I got a chance here, and him and Boquist made a nice play. But as far as his, like I've said before, he'll hold on to the puck a little too long, and he holds it too long where he's like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble now, and he'll throw it away, and usually it's a turnover.
Yeah.
And it can't happen, especially in your own zone. It's going to come back and haunt you.
And a lot of times when he does that and he realizes, oh, I need to get rid of the puck, it's too late.
Yeah.
So going on and moving forward, Bowden being sent down to the AHL, how do you feel about that? If anything, I think that kid needs more time to play at the top level.
Yeah, it's good and bad. It's good because he's going to get big minutes down there, but it's bad he's not getting the same competition as he would, up here.
Right.
And if anything, it's a good situation to be in. I guess we have some solid defensemen now, and I guess he's just the odd man out. But I mean, he was outplaying even Zadorov. He was outplaying him, and he was outplaying Boquist, and at times he looked better than Connor Murphy. But I mean, he's like the new guy in, and maybe they want him to pay his dues before he gets in, or I don't know. Maybe it's a cap issue thing, or maybe, hey, they just want him down there playing bigger minutes.
Jeremy Collin had mentioned that he feels that he mentioned to Bowden specifically that his going down to the AHL is nothing on him, on his play. That he told him that this isn't about your play, that his play has been great and he wants him to play that he's been playing. The idea is just to give him more minutes in the AHL so that he can get more playing time and continue to develop. As you mentioned, getting more minutes, I think that is good, but is it as good that because he's not getting that competition level that you get at the NHL? Because there is, I think that there really is a big difference between the competitive level at the NHL compared to the AHL. I would even say that maybe the AHL is more of a physical league than the NHL is, but I don't think that the talent is as good as the NHL. Do you think, considering Bowden's size, I mean, I believe he's only like 5'11", 175 pounds. Do you think that it's a good idea to send him down to develop specifically just to get more minutes?
Are you talking about Boquist?
Boquist. No. Oh, no, I mean Bowden.
Oh, Bowden. It's tough. I mean, if I were the GM and the coach, I'm going to play the better guy. I want to play the better guy. And he was better than at least three of our defensemen, but I think it has to do with probably cap. I mean, did the Hawks re-sign Zadorov for a couple of years?
I believe.
They have money invested in Murphy. They're not going to not play those guys. They're not going to pay a guy $9 million like Jeff Skinner to just, like in Buffalo, he's sitting in the press box right now. And I think it could be that, or it's just he's the odd man out, and it's a shame because he had shades of like Mitchell's play. He would skate in and try to be an open man, and he scored him and Mitchell scored their first goals both in the same game, and they were both virtually playing the same style, and I think that's important to have on a team.
Yeah, I agree with you. If anything that this could really do is to send a message to maybe Zadorov and some of the other players, like, hey, look, if Bowden got sent down, what are they going to do to me? Sending a message out there that maybe my position isn't safe. It doesn't really matter who I am. Do you think that Colliton could possibly be sending a message to the other players?
I don't know. I think it's more of just an odd man, just the odd man out, and it sucks for the kid, and you feel for him, and it kind of reminds me of, remember when we had Jeremy Morin a couple years ago? He was kind of like the odd man out too. They kept sending the poor kid down every game. They'd call him up a game and he'd score a goal, send him back down, and it's like you can't find a role for the guy because it's just there's too much competition up front, and I guess he's just a young guy and they want him to pay his dues.
Yeah, that's a really interesting comparison because he did get the runaround for like that first year, and then the second year he actually got some playing time, and then they sent him down, and then he came back up, and then he got hurt, and he had a serious injury. And after he had that injury, he wasn't the same. I was actually a big fan of Jeremy Morin because I liked the way that he played. He was a really tough kid. Like his work ethic was really tough. And we sent him to San Jose for Eric Desjardins, didn't we?
You know what? He's been all over the place since. I think he was included in the Hossa trade. I think he was a prospect of Atlanta. I could be wrong. I'd have to look it up, but I think he was involved in a big name trade, and he was one of the top prospects. I'm drawing a blank. It could have been he was a New Jersey kid, or he might have been a Thrasher. I forget. Yeah, he's been bouncing around, but if he was traded for Desjardins, that was a good trade for us because he was a good role player we had.
I think Eric Desjardins, man, was an unsung hero for the Hawks. If I remember correctly, we traded Jeremy Morin to the San Jose Sharks for a straight up trade for Eric Desjardins, and he paid out in spades. But anyways, we're kind of getting around to it. But that was a really good comparison of Morin and maybe Bowden as of right now.
Players, I feel like we've done that too. I think when Troy Brouwer was the top prospect at the time before all our cup runs, this poor kid was up and down, up and down, up and down. I just remember going to the games with paying $10 a game and seeing, oh, here's our future right here, Troy Brouwer, and they would just, is he playing today? No, he's back down in Norfolk. And then he'd be called up, score a goal. Nah, we sent him back down. I'm like, we are terrible. We are the worst team in the league right now. Keep the kid up there and develop him, and there's been a couple players we've done that too.
Yeah, you're right. It's probably the calling sign from the front office. So moving forward, big 7-2 win tonight. Patrick Kane got his 400th goal. He played great. I'm sure he's really happy to get it out of the way finally. After tonight, we have Tampa Bay coming up. These are going to be two really huge games. Coming into the season and playing Tampa right out of the bat, I think might have been good for the Hawks. But I think that they are a completely different team now going in. How do you see the coming games against Tampa for the Hawks?
I think it's going to be tough, but we have a starter goaltender now, I think, or we got a number one. I don't know if it's official, but Lankkonen's the guy. He makes the big saves. The other that Subban won't. And I think Kaner's hot. DeBrincat's, their guys are rolling. Our defense is kind of, I think they've settled in. They've bought into the system. And we'll see how it goes. But I think if they keep playing the way they have, I think we're going to be okay. You just don't take penalties against this team. They're really good on the power play as well. They got a really, really good goalie. He's probably the best in the world right now, and if we can get a couple by him, get some confidence and lose his confidence, I think we could be okay.
Yeah, if one thing's for sure, at least speed style, I think that the Hawks can keep up with them. Matthew Highmore, I thought was very noticeable tonight. He didn't get any points, but he had a couple defensive recoveries that he had, and I think that the guy he really puts it out there. I thought that he was really noticeable tonight. I specifically wanted to mention him for his play. Where do you see Highmore in the lineup?
I think he could be a top 6, but I think as of now, he's like probably a bottom 6, but at the top. Like a third line guy for now.
Okay.
But I think they should kind of leave stuff the way it is. And you know what? We haven't really missed Dylan Strome. I mean, he's been out for a while, and I mean, we've been fine without him. I don't know what's going to happen with him in the future, but I would keep this lineup the way it is.
Dare I even say that we're surviving without Jonathan Toews? Now, obviously, Jonathan Toews is a head and tails better player than Dylan Strome is. But do you think that Toews coming back could be a huge piece that takes the Hawks from being surprise contenders to a team to look out for?
Well, yeah, he's Toews, and I think Kirby Dach, if they both come back, that could be like, it could be like a 2-3 team. I think I don't think we'd be the last playoffs, but I think we would earn more wins with these guys in our lineup for sure. Yes.
I think it's absolutely insane that 2 of our top centers are out, which is arguably one of the hardest and most difficult positions to play, and probably one of the most valuable positions on the ice, because your center pretty much decides if you're going to get possession in defensive zone and offensive zone, creating opportunities for you that we're missing our top guy. So for Toews going forward, have you heard anything on him coming back or any kind of news?
No, they're really tight-lipped about it. I heard Kirby Dach is skating, obviously no stick. He's just he's skating, but Toews nothing. I think you fear for him. You don't want anything. You don't want him to come out and say, "Hey, I'm retiring. I have an illness that I can't play anymore," which would be terrible. But if we got him back in our lineup, I think we would definitely be scary. And I think the teams in the Central would be like, "Oh, these guys are playing great without him. Now they got him. Look out."
Yeah, I agree. So to wrap this up, I'm going to head it off to you, and you can give me your final rundown of what you feel the Hawks have going forward, how they're doing, and any news that you want to talk about from the rest of the NHL.
I'm going to talk about what you talked about earlier, Marc Staal. The last 2 games, he was solid. Tonight, he was back-checking, breaking up 2-on-1s, just making really smart plays. Like a veteran, he's been around, he knows what to do. And I think at the trade deadline, there's going to be teams calling Detroit for him. And I
hope we're one of them.
I honestly hope Bowman gives him a call, because next year we're probably not going to be in their division. He's not going to come back and haunt them, you know what I mean? But I would like to see him. I know, like we're talking about, there's a lot of competition in our D, but this is a guy that would be probably a top 4 for us. He could penalty kill, probably work on the power play. But if we're going for the playoffs, you want to load up and get what you can.
Yeah, I would think that if we were able to pick Staal up, that would definitely move Zadorov down. That would definitely move him down from the second line pairing. I mean, I could honestly see a pairing of Keith, Mitchell, Staal, Bowden, and a final pairing of Connor Murphy and Boquist. I think that would be, yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's how it's good. It's a good thing to have, you know.
yeah, that would be a great problem to have. And
Hit, but I mean, usually at the trade deadline, most of your salary is paid. It's all about the remaining salary is what the the cap hit what the remaining of your salary. So I don't think it would hurt us, and we got guys on long term IR. I mean, I don't know how many years left. Is I'm guessing there's a couple of years in the New York deal, or he could be a free agent. We got to look that up, but I think he would be a great addition. After watching him tonight, that's a guy that rubs off on younger players too, and I'm sure that's why Stevie Y got him, because he's a solid guy. I'm sure Stevie Y is going to want to resign the guy, but I mean, watching that team tonight, they just look terrible, the Wings, and it's not fun. I mean, even Grice turns around and paddles his stick on the crossbar and breaking it. It gets frustrating to lose like that, and I'm sure none of those guys want to be a part of that.
Yeah, it had to have been really hard for him because you want to get pulled, but at the same time, the other guy, won the game. Bernier won last night, so he wasn't getting pulled.
We should mention that. I mean, I thought Bernier was great last night, and I think he was. We could have easily, tied that game a couple times, and he was great. And he's got like 6 wins, I think. And Grice only has 1 win, and I'm surprised they didn't put him in net tonight, Bernier in net tonight, because the Hawks couldn't get one by him yesterday. I mean, Kane had a ton of chances, and Bernier shut the door on him. You could tell Kaner was getting frustrated. He wanted that 400, and I thought that was a mistake by the Wings. I mean, they had the Hawks they had their number yesterday.
Yeah, Bernier was absolutely he was standing on his head yesterday because they were throwing everything at him, and he had an answer for just about everything. I mean, they could have won that game with some solid play from Subban, but Bernier, not to take anything away from him, he played absolutely phenomenal. So going forward, man, do you have anything else that you want to run through?
Did you like the Hawks jerseys tonight?
I loved them, man.
I don't know how I feel about them yet. I wish they would have went back to just the black, the third jerseys that they came out in. Was that the late 90s?
Yeah. It's like the red jersey. Just substitute the red for black.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they should put. I'm wearing my jersey tonight, my 60s logo. I think that should be on the third jersey. I love this logo, the 60s look, Indian head. But who knows with the PC crowd, they might not like that. So
I really liked it, man. I mean, if we could have gotten Patrick Kane to pull a toothpick out of his head and flick it at the camera like Scott Hall, I mean that'd have made it even better. Yeah,
it looked like a NWO WCW Wolfpack jersey that Kevin Nash used to sport.
Well, cool, man. If you've got nothing else, I'll just close this out. Thank you, everyone, for people who tune in. We're very appreciative. We've got Tampa Bay on Thursday. Second game is, I believe, Saturday. We'll release another one after that. Hopefully, I would be really happy if we can get 2 wins out of this. If we get 1 win out of this, I mean, I think it's a win for the team, and I think it's definitely a big stepping stone for them going forward to buy in and to really believe that that they could even make a playoff run. So seeing them going forward, it's great. I like that the fact that the Hawks are really putting it out there and giving a lot of effort. So everybody tune in. We got more for you, and we're very appreciative for the people who spend their time to listen to us. It's great, and we've got more for you. So take it easy, guys. We're out of here. This is Mike and Matt. We're out.